So we're hanging out here, messing around with the GSXs, and this beauty pulls up. A gentleman from out, I believe he's out east, came up here, and they're talking about doing a possible trade deal with the Blue Monster for this beautiful Evo 10 MR. Into it. This Evo is a completely stock Evo. It's beautiful, not a spot of rust on it. I think this guy's the second owner of this car. Forgive me if I'm mistaken there, but stickered up a little bit. Those are all gonna obviously have to get peeled off if this trade goes through or whatever happens, but they're about to take off on a little test drive, and I'm gonna bring you guys back over to what we worked on today. We didn't get a chance to go around in the blue GSX yet. We started messing around with my fuel injection system and upgrading that, so I'm gonna give you the quick rundown. Let's check this bad boy pull out. Oh man, hopefully those guys have some fun, because that thing is nasty. Well anyways, back over to the Blue Monster. We just popped it, took his old plugs out. He's had in for about a whole season now, and we replaced them with some NGK BPR 9ES plugs. I believe they're one step colder than the ones he had in it. Regapped them to 23 thou and threw them back in. She's great. We just turned on some anti-lag, so that setting is now enabled. See if I can get him to do a quick shot with that. But I'm going to tie this video in with one that I shot the other day installing my 750cc fuel injectors in here. And basically the story went like this, guys. I got them out here. I put everything back together. I threw those silver ones we did in the videos past where we replaced the filters and all that. I swapped them around a couple of times. I tried twice. First I put them in, I couldn't get them dialed correctly in ECM Link, and I don't know what was going on, but it just wouldn't work. So it kept running super rich. It was down in the 9.0, 9.5 AFRs. I reached out to a couple of guys and asked them what the hell could be going on, and basically I found out with the car running, it would stay in open loop with all 4 injectors plugged in because it was running so rich. I would unplug number 4 and the idle would actually clean up and it would run right. So I came to the conclusion that I had a stuck injector. So I took them back out, I checked them out. They would open and close with a 9-volt battery, but when plugged in over here, I don't know what was going on. It just stayed wide open. It was filling the exhaust up with fluid, so fuel. So we took those out. Today, we came out here and we've already got them in. We have our FIC 750cc fuel injectors installed, but we got these all plugged in, so I'm gonna blend the two of these videos together. I just figured having these cars here today, I'd share it with you. I'm kind of excited about that. Not every day you get to see the good old Blue Monster and an Evo 10 rolling up behind it. Let's jump into the footage that I recorded the other day, and we're gonna tie that in with some of the tuning I did today, and hopefully you guys will understand how to upgrade or install your fuel injectors based on ECM Link's injector data pages. I'll show you guys how you can start from the 750cc base tune, and we're going to go do a quick drive around town and hopefully be able to get everything dialed in correctly so we can turn the boost up at the end of the day. let's get into it. We are going to be pulling these injectors out, and I think if you guys have been following me for a while, you've probably seen this process done a couple of times. It's really straightforward. We're going to unplug each one of these injectors. There's 4 of them in total. Obviously, it's a 4-cylinder. We're going to take off the bolts. They're 12 millimeters. There's 3 of them. There's 2 of them holding the cruise control cable to the cruise box over here in the corner. They run across. That's where it's held down. So there's a 12 here, a 12 here, and a 12 here in the back. We're going to have to slide these plug wires out of the way. Other than that, we're just going to be taking the 3 12s out. We're going to be lifting the rail up, and we're going to carefully retrieve all of the injector seals. I recently replaced these about, I don't know, probably 6 months ago. So we're going to reuse the stock injector seals, and we also have to make sure we don't lose the little plastic spacers that are underneath these bolts. They hold the rail in place, keep the injectors nice and snug, and they like to fall off. So a little trick I learned from Jaffro Mobile. If you guys don't know who Jaffro is, then I don't know why you own a 2G DSM, or a 1G for that matter. He's pretty much one of the gurus out here. Check him out, Jaffro Mobile on YouTube. He has an amazing catalog of videos, tons and tons of great information. Check it out. You'll be stuck there for probably a good 2 weeks just watching every single night. It's kind of what happened to me. But anyway, put a little, what was it, gasket maker, Permatex on the bottom of those spacers and stick them onto the posts, and they stay forever and don't fall off. So that's kind of nice. I'm going to stick you guys out to the side and get this job cracking, and we're going to pull out the computer and start tuning the 750s in. So let's get after it. So we've got our injectors pulled out, and these are them right here. They're the stock 450cc green tip injectors. Rail is out. Something else I forgot to mention is you want to take out your PCV, which is right over here. It's 15 mil. Mine's AutoZone Special. Yours will be a 14. You also want to disconnect the adjustable fuel pressure regulator, the 210 mils on the end of the rail. Once that's out, we've got access to our filthy plenum, which we will clean this summer, I promise. But anyway, now we can get to putting our new injectors in. Also, you'll notice that there's only one black seal here. Cylinder number 1, 2, and 3, the seal stayed in. Number 4 popped out. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to go ahead and check the tops of these. We're going to swap these brand new O-rings over to our 750s, and we're going to start sliding these into place, and then we got to bust out the laptop. So let's get it. One other quick tip, this goes without saying, for the most part, whenever you mess with your fuel system, if you're going to be pulling off your rail or your injectors or anything that has fuel pressure on it, make sure you bleed the fuel pressure off. I know you guys don't see me do it a lot, but it sits overnight when I come out here, and these are like projects done first thing in the morning for the most part. So make sure you crank your car over with the fuel pump unplugged a few times, get that pressure out. So yeah, anyway, got these insulators pulled off of all the injectors. Got the O-rings put on. These things are ready to go. The only one that has, again, that black base seal is number 4. So we're going to get some brake parts cleaner real quick and just blast off all these little rubber pieces, make sure there's no grit or grime in them, and then we're going to slide these puppies in there. Well guys, on further inspection of this new adjustable fuel pressure regulator, the O-ring that goes into the side of the fuel rail, which is this one right here, got pretty messed up. So luckily I've got a pretty big stash of these sitting upstairs. I've got some Viton, some HBNR I believe, and just a regular fuel safe O-ring here. So I'm going to try this little plethora of them, throw the rail end back on, and keep this moving. Alright guys, we've got the new injectors in there, all buttoned up, everything's plugged back in. We've got the new Fuel Lab 515 pressure regulator reinstalled. We've got our PCV valve put back in, and everything looks like it's all set. So I'm gonna go in the car and I'm just gonna do a quick check, make sure that there's no leaks anywhere, just key on a few times, then we're gonna grab the laptop. So I'll be right back. All right guys, so after we've got our new injectors installed in the car, we've got our base fuel pressure set, and I believe it's right around 43.5 psi on the gauge. And in order to check that, you pull the vacuum line off while the car is running and just plug the vacuum port on the actual AFPR, and the gauge will settle at its set psi. So do that, verify it, put your vacuum line back on. We're all set, we're ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into ECMLINK here, and we're going to connect. Once we get connected here, we are going to go ahead and start a capture. You don't have to start a capture, I'm just doing it this way. All you have to do is go into ECU config live. First, we need to go to ECM Tuning's wiki page, and we're going to come in here and look at their ecmtuning.com/wiki/base injector data page. And this page right here, I'll put the link in the description. I'll also link the same exact low Z injectors that I'm using, or their modern variant. But this page is a collection of all the different globals, dead times, and manufacturers, the different CC injectors that they have on file on ECM Tuning's page. This will show you a bunch of information that you can use to get your car running correctly and eventually get it dialed in perfectly. So what we need to get is our fuel injector clinic FIC 750s, and it shows our global is set to -40 because these are 40% larger than stock, and our dead time is 330. So what you do is you hop back over here into ECMLINK, go into ECU config, come up to the fuel tab, and at the bottom we're going to click calculate. We're going to type in our 750s, and this will round down or up a couple cc's, and that's just what it does. It rounds you off. Like right now, our global is set to -40, which it should be, and it actually rounded it to -40.6, and it changed the 750cc injectors to 749. That's okay. That's our base fuel pressure, 43.6 psi. We want 14.7. We want a stoichiometric ratio for our gasoline only setup. We're not running E85. So you click calculate, you click use, and that's going to automatically put this information down here for your global. Then you have to come over and manually type in your dead time. So our global dead time, which will be shared across all the injectors, and I believe this also ties in under your direct access table and makes the adjustments here in injector battery adjust, but we're not going to mess with that. I know that some injectors come with information for these voltages, and you can type in the millisecond, the U-second here. We're not going to do that. We're just going to try to run these off ECMLINK suggestion, which is -40.6 and 330 milliseconds of dead time. We're going to save it to ECU, and now we're going to jump back over into our live data log. Sorry, I'm bouncing around with the camera, guys. It's a tight space. Let's fire it up. All right, so she is running. And what we're looking for on this table is right now we are in open loop, and you're always in open loop when you first start. We want it to get a little bit warmed up, and we want it to drop over into closed loop. So we're going to just keep an eye on that. We're going to keep an eye on our fuel trim, and we're going to see if we need to make any short-term fuel trim correction here, which I'm sure we're going to have to do, and just get these things dialed in for idle. Now, your idle will change, or the fuel trim rather will change with idle as the car warms up. Right now it's cold, 57 degrees, so we're going to let it warm up for a few minutes, and once it is warmed up, we're going to come back in here and take a look at this data we've got go for a quick drive, do a quick log, and start doing our cruise tuning adjustments and keep an eye on our knock. We don't want to have any crazy knock happening. Okay, so we've got a little bit of temperature in the car now. We're at 143 degrees, and our fuel trims, surprisingly, with these 750s are pretty damn close to stock at idle. So ECM Link's information gets you pretty close, guys. If you're gonna swap out any of these injectors from Fuel Injector Clinic, I'm assuming they're gonna be spot on. I mean, I can't attest to anything other than these 750s, but these guys know their stuff. You know ECM Link, Tom Doris and all those boys. They've been doing some seriously good work for a long time. So I trust their judgment. Hopefully you do too, and you can get it all dialed in. So if you look, our wideband and our AFR estimate is like pretty close. They're within a couple points of one another. We're going to sub 5 or 6% here on combined fuel trim, so we are still a little rich. So as the car warms up, there's no headlights on, you have your heat off, no load on the engine. We're going to go back into our MAF comp, and we are actually going to reduce these 500 hertz points just a little bit, see if we can get rid of some of that right now. So we're just going to lower those sliders. And if you guys have followed along in the past, if you do have to do this procedure, all you have to do is log your MAF raw data, and that's going to show you a certain hertz frequency. Like right here, we're idling between 500 and 600 hertz. And if our combined fuel trim is minus, it's saying that we're running 5% rich. If it's positive, we're running lean. So what you do is you come over here to this point where it's 500 or whatever hertz point you're in when you make a log. You jump back into your ECM Link live settings, and you pick that plot on the graph, which is going to bring you 500 hertz is right here. That's that little dot there, because I'm running a 3-inch GMF sensor. You just click it, and you subtract that percentage. So we click that, and this number is depicted here, minus 6.2 right now, and it's still saying that I'm 5% rich, so we can take a couple more percent out. And we just keep doing that until we get all lined up. So I'm going to be messing around with this for probably a couple of days, just driving, doing some logs, and making sure that everything is lined up where it should be. And this whole curve is probably going to end up changing now because of the injectors. So first things first, now that we've got this thing idling, thank God, we're finally at the end of the fuel saga. We've gotten our new pump installed. We've gotten our adjustable fuel pressure regulator installed and gotten rid of the stocker. We've got our brand new used 750cc FIC injectors installed. We've got our 16G turbo, our boost controller, all the goodies we need. We're going to take this thing out and do a little bit of a drive around town and just see where things line up. So first things first, we're going to keep this log rolling, and we're going to go for a nice little part throttle cruise. Keep an eye on your knock, keep an eye on your fuel trims, make sure nothing's too crazy out of whack, and if it is, pull over to the side of the road and make your corrections where you need to. All you have to do is stop your capture, go back and find the spot where it's way out. It's either going to say minus 15 or plus 15, and you just go in and make the correction at that hertz point until you're lined up. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll see you guys back here in a minute with some results. Alright guys, so we've done a little bit of work out here. I just did a couple of quick pulls, about 15 pounds. Everything is pretty close to lined up, but we're still, after pulling some out of the MAF comp sliders at the 500 and 600 hertz points, I'm still getting a little richness right here. I'm still at minus 5% on my combined fuel trim. So in order to take and fix that, what you can do is go back into your live settings, go into fuel, and at the bottom, your dead time, it's at 330. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull 5%, or we're going to pull 5 out of this. So we'll put it down to, instead of 330, we'll put it at 325, then 320, then 315, until we get to the dead time that lines up our fuel at idle. So the dead time adjustment is great. You can, if you need more fuel, you just raise your dead time up a little bit. If you need less fuel, you can just take some dead time out of it. And hopefully that's going to correct our last little 3% that we're working on. And then I'm going to do a couple of polls and explain a couple logs real fast and show you guys basically exactly how I go back through and try to fix some of this stuff up and make it nice and smooth. So first step, I'm going to go down to 320 U seconds, hit save to ECU, And then right from there, we should be able to jump over to the live data log and see this green line to start get a little bit closer to overlapping. We might have to go back into the MAF comp, but let me go back up here real fast and show you something. Let me zoom out on this log. Now if you look, there's a gap between the top humps and those purple lines, and it starts to get a little bit closer as we go further down. That's because we're pulling a little bit of a dead time out. So if I drop 330 down to 305, let's try 305, hit save. Then we go back over to our log, take a look at it, and you can actually see right here, now those green lines aren't all below. That's the wideband factor. It's starting to intermingle a little bit with your wideband and your air-fuel ratio estimate. So you can mess with the MAF comp sliders, take away a few more percent if you want, add a couple percent. It's up to you. So I'm going to try to fidget around with this a little bit more. We're going to go to about 315 U seconds, go back into MAF comp, pull a couple more percents out of there, and try to line this idle up so it's correct. Right now, I'm going to take a little bit out from 400 and one more out from 500, and we're going to save that and just see where we land. Let's go back into our log. And it looks like every time we make a little correction here, we're getting closer and closer. These are overlapping pretty closely. So we're going to go back over here to our fuel tab. I'm going to take out 10 more milliseconds here, or U seconds rather. Save that, jump back over to our log, and that's getting pretty close. So I'm going to keep working on lining this idle up over the next day or two in different temperatures, cold and hot. But that's looking nice right there. It's all overlapping. We're at minus 2%, give or take. That's where you want to be. Your short-term fuel trim, I'm at 1%, 2% lean, fluctuating back and forth. My LTFT low is at minus 3%, so it's a little rich. My mid hasn't cycled or my high yet, so we're going to have to do some driving in order to get those to change and cycle back on. But for right now, I'm happy where this is at. Let's go do a couple quick pulls and just see where everything lines up. I'll be back. So folks, we just drove around for a little bit. Did a couple of light pulls, nothing too crazy. Let's see, right over here, we start. These lines are supposed to be overlapping, like I said before, the two purple lines. That's our wideband and our AFR estimate. They're off a little bit here, and we're just cruising, so I got to work on that some. Right here, I gave it 70% throttle or so. I got a little 0.4 degrees of knock retard at 24, 26 and a half hertz. I've never gone this high in the hertz band before, just because of lack of fuel. So that's pretty awesome. All the little bits of knock that I did get in the past from those 450s and the big 16 combo, it's pretty obvious what it was. We didn't have enough fuel. So normally I wouldn't be able to go that high in the RPM, or that high in the hertz frequency range, without hitting some sort of knock of some sort, like 1.1 degrees, something like that. So we've now combated that down. It looks like it's at 0.4 degrees. That's because my wideband's reading 11.6 to 1 when the ECU is asking for 11.0. So we're going to have to go back into this hertz point, 23 and 2400 in the settings table under MAF comp, and those are way up here, like I said. So 23, we're going to raise that up a couple more percent, smooth this out some, and we're going to go over here. This one is the 24, where we were, how many percent off were we? Let's see. Wideband factor wants 5.2% there. So we're going to go back in there, all the way back over to 2400 hertz, and we are going to add ourselves roughly 4% to start. And because we haven't touched on 2500 hertz, 2600 hertz, we're just going to kind of bring the rest of these guys up to that mark. And in case we do get out there, we know we're only going to be about 3 or 4% off, hopefully. And this is how you just go through and try to adjust your airflow to make the ECU give enough gas for the mixture. These last three, when you get these lined up, I like to go 1 over, 2 over, and then 3600 hertz, 3 over. So it's kind of a little tail at the end there, if you can see that, just in case we get rowdy and go a little hard on this thing. So we're going to save that to ECU, and that was, let's see, 16 pounds of boost right there. That's pretty good. 16.1 pounds just starting. So we're going to aim for 20 pounds, and we're going to see if this little clutch can take it. So I'm going to leave it at that today, and we'll get back into some more tuning fun here in the next couple of episodes. I don't know, guys. It's been a real blast finally getting all this stuff put together. It was a super cool treat to see the Blue Monster show up and an Evo 10. That's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed watching this bounce around video. I hope it was somewhat informative, hopefully somewhat entertaining. And again, for all you guys who are new to the channel, who've just recently subscribed, and for all you folks that have been along with us since the beginning, we really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys have stuck along this whole ride. It's been a blast. Really looking forward to the rest of 2021 here, and we're finally starting to knock on the door to unlocking some more power in this car. So hopefully we'll be able to hit a good number here in the coming months, and basically have a built DSM, a little bit built. I can start working on the outside, working on the appearance of it some more. But I don't know, I'm excited. I appreciate all you guys coming along with us, all the likes, all the shares, all the comments, all the love that you guys have been showing us for the last 20-25 months now. We've come a long way, and we're going to keep on moving forward, doing what we do best, and that's wrenching on our fun project car here, having a good time doing it, and hopefully keeping some more of these Eclipses and Eagle Talons and Plymouth Lasers out on the streets, driving around until Mitsubishi decides to hopefully put out something nasty again, like another two-door sport coupe, or another. Where's our Eagle Talon or our Plymouth Laser throwback car? Everybody's getting all retro. I want to see a laser come back up or something like that. I don't know, guys. Anyways, if you liked the video, drop a like down below. Comment, share, subscribe, check out the merch store. And as always, you guys take care. Stay healthy. We'll see you next time right back here with another episode of today's Project Guide.